Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Monday message of mental health with me, Dr. Jen. And I have an assistant this week, my friend Leppy. I'm going to talk about Leppy in a second. I'm from the Rose Center for Learning, and every week we publish a message for mental health, usually on Mondays, not always. And I've been away for the last couple, so I've missed you all, and I'm ready to give you your message for this week. So this week's message is to watch for signs. Watch for signs. What does that mean? So you've heard me talk before about the 8 areas of wellness, and the area of wellness that I'm actually going to talk about today is the spiritual wellness, which I haven't done a Monday message on yet, talking about it. But the idea of spiritual wellness is that you connect into the larger world around you, not only in your own immediate life, but you connect in with something greater than yourself. Now, that could be a god or gods, if that's what you believe in. It could be nature, if that's what you believe in. It could be a group or an idea, if that's what you believe in. It could be energy or prana, if that's what you believe in. It could be the one source, the source of love, the source of belonging, the source of energy, however you define the one source, if that's what you believe in. It could be Mother Earth, if that's what you believe in. It doesn't matter between those things. There's no right or wrong way. But the idea is that it helps us if we believe that we can plug into something even bigger than ourselves, and that the universe is that we're part of a bigger universe that is nurturing us and feeding us, and particularly if we are aware and connect in. So it's something that is on its own really important, but it also very much enhances mental wellness if you have a good sense of spirituality. Now, spirituality comes in a lot of different forms. So there are things directly that you can do each week. You might go to church. You might go to, read out of the Torah. You might do something specific that's like, I'm going to go walk a labyrinth. I'm going to go do something that connects me in. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to go and take yoga meditation with movement. There are lots of different things that you can do on purpose. But what I want to talk about today is that sometimes the universe throws you signs, and it's important to be aware and ready for them, and then seek them out and try to pay attention and interpret them rather than to ignore them, because you miss some really rich information that is helping to guide you along your path to whatever great life you want to lead. So Leppy here is going to show you this week an example of a sign that I mean. And here's what it is. You see this? This is what we would call a cast. Yeah? So a cast is a sign. Obviously, a cast is a sign of injury. So poor Leppy had a bad fall and injured her arm. But it's actually even more than that. So if you just see it as I have an injury and I'm getting a cast to fix it, then you're missing the bigger level of what this sign is. And so your Monday message is to watch for signs, because you want to look at things, everyday things, and see if they hold a different meaning for you, a deeper meaning, for you. So here's a cast. Now, what does this cast mean other than injury? It can actually mean a lot of things. So perhaps this is a sign that Leppy needs to slow down, right? So maybe it is that Leppy is running too fast in her life, literally and metaphorically. Maybe she's taken on too much. Maybe she is not paying attention to her levels of stress or to the hardships that she's going through and not getting help. So it might be that this is a sign that she needs to slow down, and her body is trying to give her that sign in addition to the universe. And they're colluding to say, all right, well, what happens if we get injured and casted, and then she has to slow down because she can't just go running around with a cast in the same degree. Or maybe there are things that she has to cancel because she can't do them with a cast, and thereby slowing her down. Okay, so it might be that the cast means you have to slow down. Another example of what the cast could mean is the cast could mean There's something not quite right that she keeps on doing. So maybe she's running in a certain way, or maybe she's not taking the advice of other leopards that have tried to tell her something and to teach her something, and maybe she's just not listening, so she's just sort of bullheaded, which is, that's funny, that's calling you another animal. But maybe she is tenaciously holding on to her own ideas and rushing forward without kind of taking the input of other people around her and seeing the world as one big lesson full of lots of teachers, and kind of listening and taking a second to consider maybe there's a different way. Or maybe those teachers have something that can enhance her life if she would just stop and listen. Okay. So in that way, it might be that this means you're not paying attention to the people around you. It could also mean kind of a subdivider of that she's not paying attention to herself. It could be that her inner voice is telling her something and she is ignoring it and just plowing ahead. And so this could be a sign that you're not listening to your own inner voice. It could be you're not listening to other people. It could be you're not listening to yourself. That's an example. Another example of what this sign could mean is it could be a sign of goodness. It could be that she's finally doing something. Maybe she needed a little corrective surgery to make this be a better paw for her. And so a sign, a cast, can sometimes mean that you're finally taking yourself into the foreground and doing something good for yourself that you've needed to do for a while. So a cast doesn't always mean something negative. Sometimes it can mean, look, I'm finally doing something that's been on the agenda for a while and putting myself first and taking care of whatever business I have with my paw or arm. Okay, so that could be what the cast means. The cast could also mean that Leppy is a humongous adventurer, and the cast could mean that sometimes when you seek out adventure, you get injured, and that's okay, and that you don't want to just hide and never go out on adventures again, because even though you won't get hurt, you also won't have all of the joys of whatever Leppy was doing when she got injured, right? So it could be that it's just a visual reminder of your wonderful adventure spirit, and it's trying to tell you, even when you get injured, don't let that dismay you. Keep on going forward. Just sometimes you're going to have to be injured, and that's the cost of doing something really great in life. Now, obviously, we're talking about a physical injury, but the signs don't always have to be physical, right? So today we're talking about a cast, but it could be lots of other signs that you get that might mean that you need to keep on working even if it's sometimes painful. So it could be that you need to keep on working on yourself even though sometimes it's emotionally painful, not necessarily physically. So another example of what this cast could mean is that it means that there is something that you need to build in order to prevent getting this cast. So it could be that Leppy needs more physical strength, so it might mean that she needs to spend more time doing a different kind of activity to strengthen herself so that she doesn't get this injury. If we're talking about not a physical pain, but a different kind of sign, it might be that you're just continuing with the same patterns, and that what you really need to do is strengthen yourself in a different area to prevent this from happening. Yep. Do you have an idea of what the cast could mean? I've only scratched the surface. I'm sure there are lots more examples of what a cast could mean. But the point is that there's just this one thing, a cast, and that can mean so many different things. So I know people often say, follow the signs, but what I want to say is watch for signs before you just blindly follow them. Try to interpret them and figure out what it means for you. You want to be open. The universe is giving us signs all the time, so you want to be open to them, but you want to really see how it can best be applied to your life. Maybe talk to somebody else about that, a trusted friend or a therapist or a family member who knows you well, to say, like, I keep seeing this sign. I'm wondering if it means something. What do you think it might mean for me? And trade notes and see if it comes to something deeper that you really needed to hear. In this way, we can thank the universe for sending us these signs. It's really kind of nice of it. And we can do our part by watching for them and reading them and trying to interpret them and then following them. That's a lot for a sign, but that's what they're there for. So we can thank the universe for doing that, but we also are going to feel more connected with the universe if we're watching for these signs. And that connection, that is what's going to give you that really good sense of that's where spirituality comes from, is that connection to something bigger. And so if you believe the universe is giving you these signs and you're watching for them and you're reading them and receiving them and interpreting them and following them, you are going to be more connected, and more connected is good. Human beings need connection. It's much connection. It's not only connection with people, it's also connection with yourself and connection with the universe and connection with leopards, especially stuffed ones. So that's your message for this week. Watch for signs. And Leppy and I are signing off. We hope you have a good week full of sign watching, and we will catch you next time right here with the Rose Center for Learning's Monday Messages of Mental Health. Bye. Thanks, Leppy.